So finished Brighton 2, Wolves 2 on a bitterly cold evening on the south coast. Fair result, Gary?
I think so. I think there was moments where Wolves looked like they were on top, got the first goal, looked like they were going to get the second, didn't get it, and Brighton suddenly got two in quick succession, to the frustration of Nuno, really, because they've normally got a good defensive block. They don't allow themselves to be caught out like that. Looked like Brighton were then the team in the ascendancy, and yet they made a mistake with their philosophy of passing out from the back, and Wolves got themselves back in at half-time, expecting loads of goals in the second half. Didn't materialise, but I think a draw is a fair result.
We didn't get to see Aaron Connolly today, unfortunately. Bit of a hamstring injury ruled him out. Matt Doherty played.
He did.
Quite solid.
Yeah, as he always is. I think he excels in this system. I think in terms of the way they play, very expansive, free at the back, just allows him to get forward. And when he does get forward, always seems to find space in and around the opposition's penalty box. Is why he gets his goals, is why he's got so many assists as such. But very impressive again. He just is, isn't he? Just a steady 7, 8 out of 10 every week.
How big a decision do you think Mick McCarthy will face come March if Seamus Coleman is fully fit?
Yeah.
I guess a lot depends on whether Seamus Coleman is back in the team. Mick has said all the way along that Seamus Coleman is his right back. He feels he's his best right back. Probably feels Matt Doherty is his best right wing back, but he's not going to play with a right wing back. But do you think Doherty did enough against Denmark that he may have to make that big change?
Yeah, I think he played really well. And I think a lot of fans are now saying that he should get the nod. But Mick would have said that Seamus Coleman was his best right back at that time. Now, he's not going to make a decision months ago and stick to it if he doesn't believe it's the case. He'll make a decision leading into those key playoff games in terms of who is the best at the moment. I think he will honestly say to you, if every one of those two players is firing on full cylinders, then he probably would give Seamus the nod. But we just don't know. You've got to pick players in form, and certainly Matt Doherty is doing that now.
No Shane Duffy today in the starting team. He's been in and out. I think he started 6 Premier League games.
Yeah.
And the problem for Duffy is that he's not third choice. It feels as though he's probably fourth choice behind the fullback as well. So does he face a decision in January, or do you leave it till the end of the season and see how things play out?
I think he'll back himself, and I think he's right to do that because he's a strong character and he's got over difficult situations before. But I think this will be unique because I think he's idolised here. He's certainly idolised in an Irish shirt. So immense, so dominant. But you're right, the philosophy has changed that much that they're trying to play out from the back. Now, I'm not saying he can't do it, but obviously, as you quite rightly said, if he plays a back three, he's still not getting in the team. And the concern that he will have as well, and he'll be aware of this, is that they've got a young centre-half, Brighton, on loan to Leeds, who's the most dominant centre-half in the Championship this season. He's 22, Ben White. He's a footballing centre-half, and they'll create a pathway for him to get him into this first team in the way that Potter has done with Connolly, the way that he's done with a young right-back as well. So that's a concern. Now, you have to make a decision at times in your football career is that no matter how hard you work, no matter how much of a shift and no matter how determined you are to show that you are worthy of a place, there comes a situation where the manager just genuinely is not going to pick you. He has to assess that. I think you'll make the right decision. What I do know is that he won't be short of offers.
You think if he does go, whether it's January or next summer, that it'll be to a Premier League team?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I have no doubt about that. I don't know which Premier team. I don't think it'll be one that particularly likes to play a high line or is expansive. But in terms of a dominant centre-half, there's not many who are better than him. We've done a game together, didn't we, last season? Last time I seen him live, actually, for Brighton at Arsenal. It was immense. He was heading the ball 40 yards. It was the type of performance that would have had Mick McCarthy drooling. I said it to you at the time, and he's capable of that. The only problem for us is that if he goes into those playoff games and hadn't played a lot of football, he's the type of centre half because he's so big, so strong, that you need games to get your rhythm. That would be a concern.
Well, it's funny actually. He's been out here for the last 20 minutes.
Doesn't make any difference.
Doing a proper warm down.
Doesn't make any difference. It's not match football. I can still run like that. I can play a game.
You mentioned Arsenal, and I don't want to upset you, but every time it's brought up, you get a little bit angry. So Freddie Ljungberg is in. There's talk that maybe Ljungberg will get the job on a permanent basis, or they go for Mikel Arteta at Manchester City, that they'll go for somebody who knows the club. What are your thoughts?
Well, every time you mention it, it's lads who know the club as players. And that's a different remit. I keep saying it in terms of iconic players. Now, great players, these guys. Freddie Ljungberg in terms of those brilliant Arsenal teams under Wenger. Arteta as well. My concern, again, is that Freddie Ljungberg never managed before. Might be doing good things coaching the youths, but it's a different ask. Arteta getting a brilliant, intense education under Pep Guardiola. But he's never managed before. Now, we've seen this so often, is that these coaches or these new managers get jobs by association. Anyone who bumped into Jose Mourinho invariably seemed to get a job. Same with Klopp. And then we know of all those Manchester United players under Ferguson who got jobs on the back of being under one of the greatest managers we've ever seen. My concern is that Arsenal are going to make a decision on emotion in terms of getting an so-called Arsenal person back. No. If they have got any connection to Arsenal, that's an add-on, a bonus, but it can't be a priority. Just get the best man for the job. And this is what's frustrating me, is that a lot of people talk about Vieira. Yes, an iconic captain, but it's not set the world alight in terms of in League One, in terms of being in New York. Certainly, there was a lot of talk about Henry. He failed at Monaco for whatever reasons, trying to rebuild himself now in MLS in Montreal. I just want him to get a manager who knows the size of this task, because it's a massive rebuilding job.
Might Arteta actually be the one, though, who can tick all of those boxes? Like, you talk about his education. Okay, he doesn't have that frontline managerial experience, but he followed a similar-ish path to Guardiola in that he's learning from the best and would have a certain standard from what he's seen at Manchester City that probably hasn't been there at Arsenal for the last few years.
Yeah, listen, that's great, but I think the research has to be that, is he dynamic? Is he that man in his own right? Because Pep Guardiola certainly was. Yes, I know he took a lot of his learning from the great Johan Cruyff, but he's very much his own man. And they could see early on Barcelona that this was an unbelievably gifted manager, probably one of the best of his generation. So they gave him his opportunity at Barcelona, up against a lot of opposition, because a lot of people weren't happy about it. Now, if Arsenal have done due diligence and have worked out that Arteta is that man, then brilliant. But don't be telling me you're getting a job just because you played in midfield for them. It's a nonsense. And we're seeing it other ways with the owners, and this is the Arsenal fans group saying that Arsenal are rudderless. And this type of decision making in terms of just trying to get people to associate with the club, we're seeing it all over. They're now travelling with David O'Leary, talking about him being an Arsenal man. We want to get him involved. Listen, I idolised David O'Leary growing up, but I still remember him jumping all over the place when Leeds stopped Arsenal winning the Premier League. He wasn't an Arsenal man then, in 1999.
God, these things stick with you, don't they?
Well, listen, if I know it, you can bet your life all the Arsenal fans know it.
Well, we're going to be at the Emirates next Sunday for Arsenal against Manchester City. I know you were travelling last night, so you didn't see the derby. Is it done? Liverpool 14 points ahead of City? Is the title race over?
It's over, yeah, without a doubt. And I think the reason, I always said to you that if there was one team that could catch you, it's Manchester City, but not with that defence. If Laporte comes back as he's supposed to do in 4 or 5 weeks' time, Liverpool had to make hay while the sun shine. They knew that they were going to have the massive challenge of having to play in this hectic period, and they've done it. They've got themselves a lead that you're just not going to be able to catch.
All right, we'll see you next Sunday.
Look forward to it. Goals.